Pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Dr. Daria is back with us. She's a Florida nurse. That was her rant, Dr. Daria, about the flu. Kat Locklear is her name. She recorded the video about the virus after an exhausting, she said it was a 12-hour shift in the emergency room. The video stressing the importance of sneezing into the sleeve. I mean, I teach my daughter that at school. She's, you know, only 6, and using all that hand sanitizer. Are the nurses that outspoken where you work?
Nurses in the ER, being an ER doctor myself, ER doctors and nurses, we stick together. Yeah. So, you know, I love our ER nurses, and sometimes they have to voice their opinion because they see everything.
So and when you look at that video and just kind of listen to what she's saying, you know, it's like, okay, 5 people come in, you know, if you bring a team with you, another 15 go out. So it's really about having that close contact. She's saying if you don't need to bring everybody with you into the ER, you're exposing people.
And that's a good rule of thumb any time of the year, whether there's flu season or not. Don't bring everybody into the ER. Those people that have to come in, they come in with you. But especially at the flu season, because everybody is sick, and it is so rampant.
Dr. Daria, hospitals have germs. Okay. Let's go over to Alicia Roberts, because this is your show. It's about your questions out there. What are people saying, Alicia?
Yeah, let's get right to your questions. Again, the story posted on our Facebook page. So if you have a question for the doctor, make sure to email us. We'll be taking more questions coming up here. A couple right now from Joy saying, hey, does zinc lessen the severity of the flu? We're talking about some home remedies there. A lot of you asking for some of those alternative treatments. Bernie writing in as well. How long do you need to stay out of work if you have the flu? And another viewer writing in, I've heard reports the flu shot isn't working. Should I get it? We'll send it back to the doctor right now.
With that one,
that's a big one.
Which one?
The flu shot.
The flu shot. So the flu shot is very important. And anybody if you haven't gotten the flu shot, there's still time. I do still recommend people get it. And you are looking dubious, miss.
I got it, Dr. Daria, but 30% effective?
So, Sharon, do you wear a seatbelt?
Every single time.
And a seatbelt does not guarantee that you will not get injured if you get in an accident.
It
reduces your chance of
What's
getting
all that medical
injured.
training? I mean, nobody can keep up with that.
The flu vaccine is the same thing, because the flu vaccine does 2 things. One, it prevents the flu. And this year, you're right, it's about 10 to 20% for H3N2. The other strains, it has better coverage for. But secondly, is it reduces your chances of complications, and reduces the severity and the duration. And the deaths that we are seeing in people, 80 to 90% of them are in people who did not get vaccinated.
Is the virus just more wicked? And I know there's several, but is it also that it's not as effective, the flu shot? We got it on that. But is the virus just tougher this year?
Yeah. H3N2 tends to be a more severe virus, and we also don't see it as often, so we're not as accustomed to it. But overall, it tends to cause more severe symptoms, which is why it only comes every few years.
Yeah, and when we talk about severity, because I know this was a story that we covered yesterday, when we talk about the death of that young girl in Coweta County, it's hard to wrap your mind around how it can go from a flu to a young girl seemingly healthy dying 3 days later.
And that's what's so scary about it. So we do have to reassure our audience that for the vast majority of people who get the flu, they'll be miserable for a few days, they'll get better. But then there are those tragic deaths that remind us how serious the flu can be, especially in people who are not vaccinated, and why we do have to take it seriously and take the right precautions, because there are things every one of us can be doing.
And we've had a lot of people out sick here, just like, you know, at hospitals and schools. How long should you stay out of work to be kind to your colleagues?
So that's a tough question, but it usually takes from the time your symptoms start. It usually takes you about 2 to 5 days of having symptoms, and you can be contagious anywhere from 3 to 7 days after your symptoms stop. So what I tell people is pay attention when your fever goes down, wait a day or two. Fever, productive cough, all of those things, you want to wait until they're better before you're going back. Now, you may have a little bit of a dry cough and things like that, but that fever and that cough and those body aches are really signs that it's still active.
Do I feel warm, Dr. Daria?
You are going to make it.
Oh, you sure I should go?
Hold on, where's that doctor's
note
I'm getting?
7 days.
You got no idea. This boss that we work, you have no idea, Dr. Daria. We will talk about it. You're not going anywhere. That's valuable information. When we come back, I also want to talk to you about Tylenol and Tamiflu, because those came into play, and there's some people have questions about that. So stick around.
We will, absolutely.
Thank you.